You may be wondering how a sexual fetish that contributes nothing but the spread of deadly diseases and is condemned in every Abrahamic religion has been so exalted in our modern society that it is treated as a civil right, and that in my liberal Christian upbringing I was taught that one must support it if one is to be considered a good person. Well, the answer is that it connects to all three of the societal suicide pills. The sexual revolution, of course, because, well, once you've destroyed the family unit as something desirable and glorified consequence-free sex, well, it's not a very long journey to go from heterosexual couples simply carnally indulging themselves to wondering why those of other responsibility, consequence, valueless sexualities would also want their turn, want their share after. Once you've exalted the casual sex, then suddenly all sorts of things crop up, and they can even be framed as a revolution like the American Revolution, the Stonewall riots. They can be framed as a sort of social justice. Feminism, because female homosexuality allows for the worship of the female exclusively, which is, of course, part of the paganism that comes with such things and is associated therewith, as St. Paul wrote in Romans. It also benefits feminism with male homosexuality, keeping the hated males away from women, and allowing at least some of them, the submissive partners, to experience the horror of being in a feminine position at the mercy of a man. And finally, and most importantly, infantilization. The destruction of the family unit, the selfish feelings of inadequacy and wanting to be and do everything that are inherent with the first two suicide pills come to a head with infantilization because without a proper Christian upbringing, or much upbringing to speak of, nothing but the words of the state, the media and education system being controlled by very non-Christian individuals, and, well, the result is a mind so infantilized that all sex is equal, all love is equal. The infantilized mind thus has this quality of never maturing, never having interest in experiencing the other. The narcissism, the diabolic narcissism, which is at the core of homosexuality, is thus self-centered and self-worshipping, just as the child in the schoolyard thinks their own sex is familiar and the opposite sex is icky. This, of course, also is compounded by the fact that homosexuals tend to experience child abuse, therefore stunting this sort of development. The familial duties and responsibilities never enter into the infantilized person's mind. The adult simply combines sex with the other qualities of childhood, and as the child does not understand or respect why they shouldn't stick their fork into the wall socket, so too does the adult in an infantilized child state not realize why they shouldn't stick. Well, you get the idea. One thing we absolutely must not allow is the suggestion, because there is a lot of pedophilia associated with homosexuality, because of the reasons I have said before. You must not allow them to suggest that children are sexual. They cannot have a sexuality, they don't have their attraction sexually because they haven't sexually matured. We'll talk about maturity. As I said before on Lotus, anyone who tells you that children are sexual wants to have sex with children. So how homosexuality relates to the other sexual deviancies is really not terribly important, even immaterial. The fact is, it is the catalyst. And as such, one can understand God's stance on it. And as such, I hope that my revised, more well-educated stance on sodomy at least provides food for thought for you and satisfies the church, and thus I can get back to trying to save France. Adieu.